I'm live. Super. I love it when it tells you you're live. And that way if you're talking shite for 5 seconds, it would, give you a wee prompt. So tonight we've got the 2 stacks lads on. Only 2 of them. There's meant to be 3, but I think someone's birthday today. So fair play. I wouldn't be on here if it was my birthday. Definitely not. No, I'd be curled up in a wee corner at this time, probably nursing a hangover, an all-day hangover, particularly under lockdown. So I'm going to introduce both Liam and Shane to the conversation. I'm really looking forward to having a bit of banter with them. It's all about 2 stacks tonight. It's all about some of the stuff that they've got coming out. A little bit of a revisit about Belfast Whisky Week and how they were involved and what they got up to. But yeah, all about 2 stacks. I will introduce them now. I'm going to put them into the thread. All right, let's do it. Morning, Robert. It's not morning in Sweden. Don't talk, Matt. What time is it in Sweden? What are you, like 5 hours behind? Something like that, not even. But it's the same time, actually. But it's the same time zone. You're just taking the proverbial out of me. Let's have a look here. Bring in Liam and Shane. Well, Liam and Shane, how are we?
Hey guys.
The form.
All is good, Paul. All is good. Hi, Robert. How are you going? What's going on?
It's just good to have people joining us. To be honest, Liam and Shane, see when I do these programs, I don't really care if people turn up or they don't. It's good crack when they do, though. Some of the comments are absolutely fantastic. So listen, it's great to see Nicholas. Listen, some of you guys have got boxes going out to you to yourselves. I did all the boxing down in Dundalk yesterday. Lots of boxes heading out around the world. So really excited for that.
Yeah.
There may or may not be 2 stacks in some of those boxes. I'm not sure. Maybe I wanted to promote the brand. I didn't get paid to. Maybe I wanted to do that for myself.
Big bag of cannons, Paul. No,
I'm going to start the conversation on a pure negative. 1, didn't get a fucking bag. 2, didn't get a coaster. 3, don't have a t-shirt. Absolutely raging. Everything else is fine. Whiskey is great. No merchandise for Paul. Nada. Not one thing.
I have it here for you, Paul. Don't worry.
I get more merchandise in my Kellogg's cereal packets than I do from 2 stacks. You know what I mean? I get my little, my little reflector from my bicycle, and yet I get absolutely nada from these guys. Listen, I'm going to start with a drink. I like to start with a drink before we go into the conversation. I like to start with a drink. I'm going to have probably to start me. I'm going to start with this one because it's really crazy cast strength. We're going to go with the Blender's Cup cast strength. I'm a massive fan. I have said this, and people think I'm mental, but this is my favourite blend of all time so far. Irish blend, I'll put it there, and it beats that Brendan Carty's Cologne box. It's
another blended.
But it's a real blend. This is a real blend. Cologne's a fake blend. It's like a malt. It's like a 10-year-old single malt. It's that good. But this is a real blend. I mean, what have we got? 5 components. 5 components. This is what I'm talking about. Serious stuff here. Serious liquid. Actually, Liam, I'd like you to just run through those 5 components in the blend.
Yeah, so I guess 2 stacks has 2 core expressions that have the same blend in it. The first cut and then the blender's cut. So the first cut is the 43% version, and the blender's cut is the cast strength 64 to 65% version. And yeah, as Paul, you said, there's 5 components in it. There's 40% of it is what we call dark grain, which is grain that came from virgin oak casks, American oak. Then we have 40% light grain, which is grain that was aged in bourbon casks. Then there's a 10% double distilled malt element from bourbon casks, 8% pot still element that was aged in Oloroso sherry casks, and a final 2% component, which is peated malt that comes from bourbon casks.
See that peated element? That peated element is just brilliant. For that such a small amount, what is it? What did you say? 2%?
2%.
overall content is peated, and you get that lovely wee whiff, lovely wee hint, fragrant smoke. It's absolutely brilliant.
Yeah, it's kind of like a sweet peat. It's
Yes.
It's there to sort of round out the other flavors as well and lengthen the finish.
It's so subtle. It's a subtle finish. It's lovely. The mouth feels great. Again, it just feels more mature. It feels like a mature whiskey I'm drinking. It feels very, certainly at the very start, it becomes quite vibrant. Lots of like little notes bouncing around in the front of your tongue. I really like that. And I have come out, I scored it highly at the club, and I've come out on various occasions and said it genuinely is. Well, the first time I ever, tasted it, I was like, "This is it. This is what blends should be. This is what a whiskey blend should be." Blown away by it. So I'm very prejudiced insofar as that, and I'm certainly biased, when I'm talking about it. So, like, I had to have a wee dram tonight. That's
Wow.
yeah. And listen, only 222 bottles or something, was it?
Yeah, the first release was Paul.
222
came out, but I suppose it was such an impression on the industry. We went back and we've made it a core now. So we have batch 2 out now, but it comes in a lot more competitive. So we want to give people the experience to get cask strength at a good price point. So it's not the first ones are hand bottled, bonded up and bottled up in Cologne. This one is a higher volume batch. It probably comes in about £15 cheaper. So it just allows people to experience cask strength and go, all right, what's the trade up here? Okay, we're around the $70 mark, 75. All right. With the 65%, a lot of people are going to add water to that. They're going to get as much as an experience out of a £40 bottle of whiskey as they probably more of an experience on 2 bottles of £40 whiskey and 1 bottle of £70 whiskey is how I see it,
100%. If you've got that cask strength, you can play around with it as much as you want. For me personally, it's all about, I just want it neat, but there's going to be a lot of people that can bring it down to whatever they want. I'm sure a lot of people will find a way to insert that into some cocktails, high-end cocktails, and there's no doubt that it will work. Because of that wee peaty element, I can imagine it just fitting into a couple of, mainstream cocktails in people's houses. Yeah.
It actually works well as a highball, Paul. I've been doing it the last few weeks, and it really pulls all the different flavors out of each of the elements. Just a simple highball at home, and it's fantastic. It's
good.
You can get all them elements of pot still and the peated elements and play about with it. It's great.
Nicholas was saying he's got his coming, so he's got his cask strength coming.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Listen, Connor, good to see you. Gareth says bag of cans. Gareth Urban there from Copeland. Bag of cans with a question mark. Yeah, bag. Listen, there's a bag that went out to the States. Didn't come here. I didn't get my freaking bag, but there's a bag with cans in it. I got a T-shirt, a hat, and some cowboy boots. Aye, sure you did, Robert. Don't be taking the piss. It's a good blend, and yes, listen, MP Moho has it on the bottom. It's a peated-esque whiskey. It's not peated. It's peated-esque. It's got that wee, and he loves it, and he also says probably the easiest sipping 130 proof he's ever had neat. Now that's interesting because I do believe it's very, very easy to sip. It's also, it's very, very unoffensive, neat, so I don't think it needs water to dull it down. I think it's actually, for my palate, it's just great. It is just spot on. Just arrived in the US, did it, Nicholas? Excellent. And Shamini's just saying, look, good evening, fellas. If you didn't see the comment, good evening to Shamini in Norway. Absolutely brilliant. Yes.
Yeah.
When did I get
I think you're right, Paul. Mark, yeah, I'm sure you get one at some stage. Actually, Robert, I think, was one of the lucky guys that got one. I did send him one in these little tubes. They're very easy to say. You have one, Paul.
Yeah, no, listen, I have a can. I mean, I'm like, I've got a can, I'm excited. I've got a can.
You want the T-shirt? You want the whole pack? You want the bag?
Whole thing. But I'm going to get the can open. So that's my second drink. I'm going to open the wee can.
And the wee coasters.
So let's see if we can open it easy peasy. Yeah, give it a wee tap. It's no fizzy. fizzy. Don't freaking need to tap it.
Mm.
Look at that. Opened easy. Do you just drink it from the can? That's the question.
Get the pour from a head into your mouth.
I are. Or one of these
Absolutely.
beautiful glasses. Look at that. Waste not, want not. Here. That's a measure, isn't it?
That's a full
Yeah.
can, isn't it?
Are you launching without me, you chancellors? Barry Chandler's in there. There's no launch here. I just stole a fucking can. Hold on. There ain't no official launch here. Shh, we're not talking about. Shh. Are we talking about the can? We're talking about the can. The can's the can, and it's going to America. And Barry Chandler is your man to talk to. He has got cans all over the place. Not only that, I saw a big picture of a can tree. Can tree looked cool. That's going to be a Christmas can tree. There's no doubt that's going to happen at Christmas. Did you see that? It looked awesome.
Did.
So listen, Barry's going to be talking about where you can buy all of the cans in America and not here in Ireland. So, you know, Barry, you will have your day when you will talk all about the cans. 2 seconds. I've got a can. One can. Tell I actually had 2 cans. Show him another one. 2 seconds.
Where'd you get them,
Number
man?
2 can. Woo, woo.
Hey.
What's a 2 can do?
There's not much, Paul, you can put your hands on.
Aye.
Sorry, Liam.
There's not
Sorry.
so go here.
No, here, listen, absolutely brilliant. Do you know what? And I'm gonna be honest. Is this the first time I've had the 2 stacks can? Is this the first time? I can't remember. So I'm gonna pretend it's my first time, even if it's not.
Mm-hmm. You're gonna do a comparison, Paul, out of the glass, out of the can.
That's out of a can.
Straight out of the can, mate.
That's really good. 43%.
It's the same as the first cut, Paul. It's the same blend.
So this is the first cup. This is the first cup blend that's in this at 43%.
Yeah,
it is indeed, Paul.
Lads, this is a game changer. This is a game changer, guys.
Yeah.
Hold on. And here, listen, I need to say this. I absolutely love the advert. The advert is just class. That wee animation, spot on the animation, guys. Spot on. And listen, those that want to get involved and support the 2 Stacks lads from afar, then 2 Stacks Nation, I believe, is something we'll be talking about. I'm not talking about it right now. I mentioned it once. That was the last time I mentioned it. But listen, there's things to talk about. 2 Stacks have a lot to talk about. But this is really, let's just talk about the liquid for a second. So I'm just having the cast strength version, non-cast strength version, 43%.
Yeah.
Now, what we're missing here on the nose, there's a slight difference on the nose, okay? And the reason for that is we're not getting that. We're not getting. There's a high end kind of bourbon note that comes off on the nose here on the cast strength. Slightly different.
The cast strength, yeah.
Slightly different. It kind of dulls down a little bit. Actually, here, hold on.
Yeah.
Trying what that note is. It's like, hold on. It's more like an almondy kind of note on the nose. It's like a nuttier kind of nose rather than the bourbon. Oh, it's super easy. Like it's so quick. It's not so critical. It's just not as thick as that cast strength. It's just not as oily as it were.
Yeah.
But it's really
the cast strength full on oils. It's like it's phenomenal. O'Connor was explaining it to us, or his take on it was it's like very spray and muddy, and thick and oily. It's like it's like an oil diesel tractor sort of, beast of a cast strength. And then the 43%, it's very approachable, sort of becoming delicate almost, but you're still getting those.
It is delicate. It is delicate, but it's also very quick to drink. And what I mean by that is I'm not spending a lot of time having to dissect lots and lots of different flavors, because actually those flavors peel off really quickly. But that's good. We're not having to spend a lot of time here. This is designed, I'm sure, and Shane, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but it's dram in a can, It's going places. It's taking it places. It's being able to. It's fluid. He's away on. He's away on. He's left me
That's
already.
it.
But you know
He's
what?
gone for his bag of
Get the
cans.
staff these days, jeez. But it's
What do you think of the little design in the side of it, Paul? Because a lot of it is it's given the transparency element, and I did just to get a wee shout out. I know you talked about the animation, but funny story actually. The good friend of ours is a singer songwriter, Matt McGinn, and he just loves the two stacks, and we said, we'd love to write a song, with you on the launch of Two Stacks, and that song something was written from scratch in January. Very talented guy, and that is what goes along with the animation. So hopefully it brings a bit of a different take, a bit of excitement around different audiences to the whiskey industry. But
do you know what'd be interesting? I mean, that's
I thought it was great.
Yeah, you've had a song made for your whiskey, but that's pretty impressive. Like not many people get a wee song written about the whiskey. But could you imagine that wee song goes elsewhere? Maybe that wee song's used in a fucking I don't know, Channel 4, one of these dramas or something. Because that'd be pretty cool. Where did I hear that song? Where have I heard that song before? That's right, Two Stacks.
And that's great.
No, listen, I'm impressed. And listen, see when I first heard, and we've talked about Dram in a Can for a bit of time now, at least a couple of months, and we've talked about it, personally. And when I first heard it, I just went, listen, this is it. This is the game. This is the game changer. Because quite frankly, why have we not had, let's think the amount of glass that we use, the amount of paper, the amount of everything else, that packaging that goes into whiskey, and yet now we're looking at something that's, I suppose, is and can be a lot better for the environment if it's done properly, if it's recycled properly and everything else. I think it's really, I just think it's so unique. I think it's handy, and I mean handy insofar as that I'll get maybe 2 or 3 glasses from this.
Right.
And I've just lugged it around in my fucking trouser pocket. It's the size of my trouser pocket.
Yeah, it's pretty handy, isn't
it? I'm thinking, and I don't want to keep on about it for too long. But could you imagine just going to a couple of gigs with 2 or 3 of these in your pocket? Be flying, be class. Don't tell the security guards, but this is quality. Like, you know what I mean?
You think, Paul, a big part of it was us trying to make good quality Irish whiskey accessible. People assume cans, and we've got more, I think, feedback about how great the whiskey is now around. Like the can is becoming secondary. So, how do you give it to someone that hasn't tried Irish whiskey? Throw them a 100ml can. You don't need to give them, I know we've got miniatures out there, or you go for a hike with them, you have a couple of cans. And that whole accessibility and convenience was a big part of why we wanted to put this out to market,
I think on the taste, I mean, if we're just talking about the taste of the whiskey's good. The fact this is factual. This is good whiskey. It'll be interesting to see this whiskey blind tasting against its competitors. And its competitors, well, there's nobody else in a frickin' tin. But if we take it at competitive level, base entry blends, we're going to have to put it against a Jameson. We're going to have to put it against our original Bushmills. We're going to have to put it against, potentially now in the market, you're going to have the Dunville 1808. You're going to have the McConnell's 5-year-old. These are going to have to be blind tested against that. And we're going to have to see, where does it rank? Where does it kind of fit in? I'll happily do that. I'll spend time doing that. And I'm sure lots of other people will as well. But for me, it's a good whiskey. Had it been a shit whiskey in a shite tin, we'd have issues. But it's not. It's a good whiskey and a very, very attractive looking packaging. So yeah, no, I really do like it. And marathon hydration. Mark is saying marathon hydration.
Yeah, he loves his marathons.
Yes, Peter, I'm glad you've had a busy day. Everyone's had a busy day. I've had an absolute grueling day today. If people knew what I'd gone through the day, they'd tell me not to be on here. But I had to come on because this is to me is extremely important. Vanilla is saying that the video is absolutely brilliant. The song's great as well. Yep. Can you bring them to mass, Mick McGuire?
Not a problem, Mick.
McGuire. Absolutely, probably straight to the altar. Wash down the communion.
Best question I've ever heard on any program, any podcasting I've done. Can you bring them to mass? I would say, Mick, why not? I used to know a couple of priests who are quite fond of wee whiskey. Of course, know what I mean? A couple of priests who were very fond of going to the bookies at half time, know what I mean? Half time at mass, let alone the football. Do you know what I mean? So I think a wee dram in a can in chapel. I'm not going to tell you to do it, but I'm not going to tell you not to do it. You know what I mean? Fair play, Mick Maguire. That's funny. Honestly, it was cracking me up there. Yes. And hold on. What's he saying? 2 or 3 glasses, pour like an Irishman, not a Scot, and you'll get one real pour. It's 100 mils, guys. That's 100 mil pour. I mean, that to me, that is breaking it down. That's breaking it down into 3 bar shots, isn't it? It's 335 mils there, give or take, isn't it?
One free pour for Matt, I think, in the USA.
He loves it.
One big free pour.
Yes. Listen, I hear this. I hear when we do this. I can't see it because when we're chatting, but I believe the subtitles are part and parcel of this series. Everyone loves the subtitles. So if you're watching it live, you see some great.
You get the.
You know what I mean? Here, listen. I just want to say there's a couple of wee things. I was talking to Serge from the Irish Whiskey magazine. In fact, I was just listening to him. His podcast is on earlier, and he's got Michael on from Boan. Love and listen to it. It's absolutely brilliant. And he was telling me earlier on, like, you guys have been really supportive of Irish Whiskey magazine. And I want to talk to as many people as I can and just say thanks very much for that, because that magazine to me is like a Pictionary Bible that is, when it comes out every quarter, it is just phenomenal. And for you guys to be such a small company, let's put this into the grand scheme of things, such a small company making an effort to go in there and advertise. Well, listen, hats off to you guys. Do you know what I mean? And it shows the kind of, I suppose, the leverage that magazine has across the world, where it's going, and where who's reading it.
Yeah,
so well done.
I don't think it gets enough, Paul. To be honest with you, I think it's fundamental for Irish Whiskey magazine. We probably see it as this. Sometimes it's overlooked. I think what Sergio does there is phenomenal. Just the effort, the illustrations, the stories, the digging deep. It's there's nothing like it for Irish Whiskey out there. So, it's if we can do it as well, Paul, I think everyone else we're probably one of the smallest teams in the industry. I think everyone else should be on board there and knocking on his door, because he's doing some amazing stuff. And kudos to him.
I mean, I like the sorry, Liam.
I think the Irish Whiskey magazine will it'll catch on, like, let's say in the US, and that'll help make it grow a bit bigger. Like, I know Sergio's is basically it exists from his efforts, and he puts everything into it. So I think it's gonna, the quality journalism, the quality of the writing, it's a beautiful looking magazine. It'll soon grow along with the rest of the Irish whiskey industry. So
to me, it's about the stories. To me, it's about the stories. It's about the content. The content is phenomenal, and actually, there's very little advertising in it, which makes it really appealing for me. But as I say, nice just to see yourselves going in there. So I just wanted to say that, only because it was fresh in my head when I was talking to Serge. And again, he was singing the praises of Two Stacks. That's what he does. He has never said a bad word yet about them. Listen, I have another cheeky wee. So I had the cast strength there, the blender's cut, and then we've had the dram in a can, which I wasn't supposed to talk about. I'm sorry that Barry now hates me. Please don't hate me too much. But I also have another one here. Now, this one here is going to be released, I'm sure, soon, but I'm just going to, you've got it on your screen, but I have a bottle here also. Yes?
Yep, smoking.
Oh, yes.
So there we go.
Yeah.
So I'm going to have a wee dram of that. Sure, why not? All right.
Yeah.
That's Paul. I think that one that I passed was the calf. Yeah. All right.
What?
There's a difference between the one you have and the one Liam has. Is all I'm saying.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's not allowed to say. You're not allowed to say that. Jesus Christ, shit.
Oh.
Can't divulge too much. But here, Liam's on Liam's on it. You on it now, Liam?
Well, I'll join you. Don't want to leave you. Yeah.
Good man. Here. Oh. Now, let's have a wee look at this. This is only 3 component parts. Peaty malt, 30%, stout at 60, stout malt at 60%, and 10 malt double. This is a blend of malts.
Yep.
So it's a single malt.
Yeah, it's a single
It's an
malt.
interesting terminology, and
Distillery,
you call it a
but
single
it's
malt when
three.
it's a blend of malts, isn't it? Because there's no grain in it. That's class. Smells amazing.
It's phenomenal. It's actually it's my go-to now. I can't stop. It's the 60% imperial stout element. I think adds such a level of silk and such and even combining that. I think it's happening more and more, but combining the Irish brewing industry with the Irish distilling industry is important in the growth of both together. And being able to do that was pretty unique and gives you something pretty great there in the end.
What's with the creaminess here?
Mm.
Lovely creamy feel on the tongue. That's lovely.
Yeah.
Now this is yeah. I mean, this is a step up. If people are going to be if people are wondering about the blends that we've just had there, yeah, we've stepped up. We have stepped up, haven't we?
Well, here's the thing.
Non-age statement.
Non-age statement, and this is sitting on. We've went pretty aggressively. This is sitting out there for less than $50 a bottle, So you're getting something pretty special.
We've got. See, okay. I'm just wondering on the peated malt. Do we have a ppm on it? Do we have like a?
Don't have a ppm, no.
It's GND's triple distilled malt, so I think it's 22.
22,
after
right?
Is that what it is? Yeah. I
Yeah.
wasn't even aware of this.
Yeah.
I think it's 55 after double distillation, down to 22 after the third distillation. But again, it's that sweet peat because I guess the triple distilled. But combining that with the imperial oatmeal stout cask finish, and then we took the 10% double distilled malt is carried over from our first cut and blender's cut. We look at that double distilled portion. It's nice body and fruit to it. But it's really about the
cappuccino.
It's good, isn't it?
Creamy cappuccino on my tongue. It's got that lovely roasted kind of coffee note, which is really really nice, and a kind of cakey kind of feel, which is really nice as well. Very very sweet. Love that smoke rippling through my mouth. Is this the first time?
Yeah.
Is this the first time anyone's done it live tasting?
Yeah, no one's. No, sorry, the donut one.
Yeah, well, here, fair play. I hope Donald was loving it. Here, it's his birthday, innit? How old's he? 40?
30.
I was going to say he's a young whippersnapper. Know what I mean? So here, fair play to him. He must be out one of those crazy nightclubs in Europe. It must be open through the COVID.
He's away. I think he's away for a bit of quiet time. It's been a long 12 months, so a couple of days off.
It's been a long time since anyone has had any quiet time.
I know, man. And just on that note, Paul, I'll be back in 10 minutes. I actually have to just do a quick.
Well, we may be finished by then, but don't be sweating.
No, you won't.
Okay?
You'll definitely not be finished by then. You'll be halfway through the notes of that single malt, so I'll be back on in 10 minutes. All right.
All right. Okay.
Yeah.
We can just talk about him now. He's mental, isn't he? No, he's good crack. Shane is just the three of you must be having some ball down there, like thinking about all these expressions. You must be having some crack, Liam.
That's good crack. Like I suppose the process of coming up with this blend. I mean, we're just eager. I suppose we had our first cut, blender's cut. We were working on drawing the can, but we done our 4 extra cask finish blender's cuts. The Barbados rum, the apricot brandy, the tawny port, and the sauternes that we launched with yourself at Belfast Whiskey Week. Just I guess itching to get more stuff done. So we were down to GND with the thought of going, we want to work more with peat. We like the way the peat worked in the first blend, very subtle. So what would happen if we come up with a blend that has like 30 or 25 or 40% peat? So we went down to make the blend. That was the only sort of thing in our head was let's do something with peat. And when we found that there was a Imperial Oatmeal Stout cask finished malt as well, it just paired beautifully, just the coffee flavors and chocolate flavors with the smoke. So yeah, we love this here single malt blend, and kind of what the process is now is we've taken 30x malt casks from GND, like they're single malt from bourbon casks, and we've put them into a brewery, and we've basically filled them with Imperial Oatmeal Stout that we've kind of made to our specification, and we're selling that stout to two customers, and then we're taking the casks back to GND to finish another batch of smoke and mirrors. So we're trying to create this circle.
I like that. It's kind of full circle. Using at least using the correct kind of process. I mean, you're not seasoning these casks just for the sheer hell of it. I mean, you're seasoning, but using the product of that seasoning to go out to market to suppliers and give them what they want as well. Yes, that's pretty cool. Yeah, that's pretty cool.
And we've started doing some specialty cask finishes on the smoke and mirrors as well, and they're all Imperial Stout casks. So our first two that will be coming out, I'm not tell you what the finishes are yet, but it's going to be really interesting, So we're working with Dot Brewing in Dublin, who are like one of the best in the world for barrel aging programs. So got some real funky, cool casks that held their Imperial Stouts. So we're doing like a double smoke and mirrors, almost like taking the already Imperial Oatmeal Stout in the blend, but then finishing it again in more Imperial Oatmeal Stout casks with different flavors. So it's something a bit different, and just seeing what we can do, and it's bringing the brewing and distilling together. It's the real sort of the trait, I suppose, with smoke and mirrors.
Yeah, you've not deviated from your launch. I mean, you launched literally only last year. You launched during Belfast Whisky Week. In fact, you were the last part of the festival, which is pretty cool. That's in itself. You were like you were like Glastonbury. You were like the final act at Glastonbury, and you produced, didn't you? I mean, you ended up having this beautiful set on the go. Had some music on the go, but each one of your whiskies was told a good story. Quite frankly, you mentioned apricot finishes, all those different finishes. They were something special, and there are not many of them lying about. Many of them lying about, and they are great.
Well, a few other barrels inbound that nobody's done before, so that's kind of we want to sort of do that, to bring out Irish whiskey that is we're not going like wacky cask finishing just for the sake of it. It has to work. So it's a peated malt works with certain flavors. The blender's cut is going to pair, like as you said, the apricot brandy and stuff. So we're looking for
Robert wants more. Robert wants more of it. But
Robert.
Vanilla is on point. She needs that smoke and mirrors in her life. Listen, we all need smoke and mirrors in our life. There comes a time when smoke and mirrors are necessary. Spot on. Listen, Liam, it is for me it's a breath of fresh air. There's a lot of brands on the go. Don't get me wrong, lots of brands, and we've met a few of them already in this little series, in this little Sláinte series. It's really, I don't know. It's what we have here is something very unique. I mean, we're bringing things to the table which people haven't necessarily, and if they have thought about it, just maybe thought it was a bit mental. So the idea with the dram de can maybe did pop into people's minds. We're aware that there was so we can mention this, but there might have been a Scottish company might have done something before, but not as cool as this, not as smart as this, not thinking the whole way through about how accessible whiskey can be made, the cost of it, but that accessibility point. And yes, it's in the States just now, but maybe it comes to Ireland, maybe it comes to the UK, maybe to the rest of the world potentially. But at the moment, I think America will embrace this. I think everyone in America who drinks Irish whiskey will go, I need to try this. And once they've got it, I can imagine, bring on that summertime, bring on the You know, the times when they'll be down at the beach, there'll be, you know, little campfires all over the place. There'll be the pool parties at home, barbecues. There's going to be cans lying about everywhere. A lot of cans. But the good thing about that is the recycling point. You know, I had for Paddy's Week this year. You know, we have 4 sets on the go. We have a Bushmill set, a clone set. There's a premium set and a mystery box. And the amount of empty bottles I had was phenomenal. Lots of empty bottles, and I was like, they're all going to go to waste. But then I thought in my head, and I was going to ring up Brendan. I just wanted to put him on the spot and say, Brendan, how much would you pay to get your bottles back? I'm thinking, like, remember back in the day you used to have your fizzy drinks and you got like 10 pence for your bottle, 20 pence actually from Bar's Iron Brew. So, you know, you hand it back. I think you could do that with glass bottles. So see these big bad boys. You give me £1 and you get your bottle back, reusable. Because I mean, your corks are quite smart. They're reusable corks. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you could reuse them. That'd be great to see more sustainability in packaging, you know, across the board.
Do you know what I thought was really good for these as a you know, if people have these and they want to donate them, it's to donate them to the people who would fill up, you know, these. I've seen them maybe in England. I'm not sure if they're here yet, but these places where you go and get your own milk. You know, you just go and fill up your own milk. Could you imagine filling up your milk in this bottle? That's quality.
Work well.
I think that's what we should do. We should just that's the second part of 2 Stacks now has the milk run in the morning. You finish that, you get rid of it, and you go, oh, hold on, love, I need to go and get milk. There's about this much left, and you say to the wife,
you top it up with milk.
We need milk in the morning. I'll finish that just now. And that's an excuse to finish off the 2 Stacks. Do you know what I mean? Tell me this then. So, look, we've got more stuff coming. And I know you're going to be announcing with Barry Chandler lots of things for America. There's no doubt about that. I don't want to steal his thunder. But I want to say thank you, though, to 2 Stacks, because you guys took a bit of a risk, you know, getting involved in the festival last year. You know what I mean? You know, it could have been a complete flop.
Could have been.
And yet it wasn't, you know, very, 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 very successful. A lot of people talking about, you know, all the different brands. I don't think there was a brand that never got a mention. In fact, there was always, conversation about, you know, what was happening, and social media kind of lit up. And there's always been a trickle since then. People have continuously talked about their bottles, their glasses, whatever it is. I still get people who even said today, I'm meeting such and such whenever this lockdown is over. I'm meeting such and such to sit down and go through one of these boxes. And I was like, you still have whiskey left. You know, this is good because, you know, people were getting to share it. People were getting to, to keep some. And no doubt people really savoured the 2 Stack stuff. I think a lot of people missed out. So I take it you've got plans for this year.
Oh, we do indeed. Yeah, we basically started working straight away after last year. We've got something, you know, it's got its own identity. It might have a new song, an original song, new packaging, a different size, a different way of, you know, giving the consumer the whiskey. So it's one of them ones where we're working with the crack team, you know, Studio Stereo, and getting some nice things together for a nice offering that we're going to launch at Belfast Whiskey Week this year. So definitely we can't wait for it. Yeah,
good. That's nice to see. I mean, you're mentioning Studio Stereo, you're mentioning Johnny Lloyd and Connie. Listen, these guys put a lot of effort in to what they, you know, to your branding. They put a lot of effort in to what you know, to what you have. I'm very thankful for the work that Johnny does for both the Whiskey Club here in Belfast, for Belfast Whiskey Week. All of that stuff's great. I mean, our boxes at the moment are in production. They just look class. You know, they look the part. He's done a lot, and I'm glad that you guys are, you know, working with local guys, you know, and it's again something really nice about and what you've done as a company. You know, there's there's an ethos there. I mean, I don't know how the three of you, came up with it and how you've managed to keep it together, but there's a beautiful ethos with this company, that you do care about the consumer. You care about working, with local, other local brands and other, artists. That to me is really important, and producing very good whiskey. And it's not to be sneezed at. I think it's very difficult to make a very good blend. And I say that because I drink a lot of whiskey, Liam, and I probably have opened way more bottles than anyone else in Ireland this year. I would assume, apart from if you were a bar or if you were like a hotel or something, or off license potentially. But I think as an individual, I think I've popped enough corks this year and tasted a lot of blends over my years to know that you've made some really good blends. The malt here, this single malt, is still a bit of a blend. I mean, it's a blend insofar as we're blending those malts together, marrying them together is the terminology isn't in Scotland, isn't it? And yet it's really good, but it's not an easy task.
There's an interesting point to that about the story of where Two Stacks is going. It's these are all liquids that have come from the one stable. They're all from Great Northern Distillery, and they're producing great whiskey. So that's excellent for us, and we can make some nice blends with it. But I think the future of Two Stacks is in the blended category, where it won't be single malt, a marriage of single malt from the one place. It's going to be blended malts, blended pot stills from different distilleries across Ireland, and we want to work with the smaller, more unique guys that are bringing out like interesting, crazy mash bills and whatnot, and other styles. So that's the exciting thing about Two Stacks is we're only, we've a lot of things to learn by blending distillate from different places. So that's kind of the exciting thing. We've started buying a few casks, and we're starting to do a little bit of pairing casks and whatnot. So it's exciting times.
Good. And just noticing, Sean McCartney, that's bold. I'm not gonna flick that up on screen either. That's an awful insinuation. Although something, it's one of those things. Everyone knows I go around the country dropping off our club tastings. Everyone knows that. But is there hairy babies? I'm not too sure. Is that? And here, pulling on cow's teats, yes, for the milk. But I wasn't saying that. What I was saying, Brandon, quite specifically, was in England. I was watching it on Country File. They have these beautiful like vending machines. But you go in and you just put your bottle underneath and it just pours out fresh milk. No need to go to the supermarkets. Just go to the local farm.
Seen David Mara on Twitter. He was drinking raw milk last week.
Unpasteurized milk, yeah.
Yeah, it could be a new trend, Get your whiskey bottle and go get some raw milk.
That's it. Go for it. Absolutely. But listen, it's weird the way places take you when you talk about whiskey. So, what is the plan then? Okay, so we've got this one can. Are we thinking about more cans?
Potentially, yeah. There's a wee. Sorry, I'll get you a question now. But
coaster and can.
Like I suppose there's with lockdown coming in there in March last year, we had this idea, but we probably wouldn't have actually accelerated it as fast as we did to bring it to market. And it's quite a complicated supply chain, and that's one of the reasons why it's not in Ireland yet or UK and whatnot. But I think we'll have the Two Stacks, the original blend, the 5-part blend. The can also has the blend ratio on it, which is cool. So yeah, we'll see how this goes in the US market, and hopefully then in the not too distant future we're going to sort out the other parts of the supply chain and get it rocking elsewhere. But we're really pleased so far. We actually officially launched with distributors on the 1st of March. So some states will have it for St. Patrick's Day, and Barry Chandler's going to help us spread the word with that there. But other states, as you say, coming into the summertime, coming into like May, June, July, the cans will be hitting other states. So we're in about 10 states in the US on this initial wave of rollout, and probably by the end of the summer we'll be in 20 different states. So
Wow.
it's great. Like, it's a huge important market, the US. So I guess the drama in the can mightn't have existed if we didn't have that market to go to launch it. Because it kind of has to be done on a big scale to make it work, to get the numbers to work and that type of thing. It's just, it was a risk, but hopefully it'll pay off.
And I think the long term, long term Two Stacks is not about it's not about its own distillery. That's not what it's about at the moment. That's never been the kind of thinking. But it is about continuing a very, very, I suppose at the moment, a very interesting concept, and keeping it fresh, fluid. I think is one of the things that we're picking up on here with the Two Stacks. Designed, it's fluid. It's actually constantly moving. The animation was so smart. This idea of a constant moving world that we're in. I think it's very, very important. And listen, I know Arena has a quick question for you, and I don't know that answer. I'm sure Barry will have a better idea of where it's going to be.
Well, if you check out our importer partner in the US, they're called High Road Spirits. So if you check out High Road Spirits website, they've got Two Stacks on there, and you'll be able to see all the states that they distribute in. The 10 off the top of my head, it's California, New York, New Jersey, Texas, Florida, Minnesota, Illinois, Massachusetts.
So just a couple of states, eh? Just a
couple of states are the major ones that sort of
all the small ones. They were the smallest ones, weren't they?
I suppose the Irish hotspots, where the diaspora are, and then rolling out into the other states. So hopefully by next St. Patrick's Day we'd be in about 40 states. That would be the way we'd like to go with it. So we'll see how it goes. But check out High Road's website. They've got all their distributors and states listed on it.
Good. Listen, Liam, we're not going to wait for Shane here in the live chat, but listen, I do want we want these to be about 30, 45 minutes long. I think we've done well tonight. If there's anything else you want to say about Two Stacks, go throw it out there right now. You're more than welcome.
I just think the support we're getting is very humbling. We're kind of really, really surprised with the guys that are getting behind us. I see MP Moho there in the comments. He's in Minnesota and he's really helping us. Matt Morrison there in Delaware, another state we're looking to hit up, and Matt's championing us out there. So some guys are really getting behind us and helping us, giving us advice along the way and all the rest. So it's good support from yourself and other people in the industry, and Barry Chandler as well. He's really helping us there in the US. We had a great media event last week that you see all these articles coming out in Forbes and different things like that.
And listen, we should plug this a couple of times. Forbes magazine.
Yeah.
Forbes magazine. Honestly, that was just fantastic, and I was really, really impressed. But we should say that the photography was done by Grace.
Yeah.
And for those that don't know Grace, I'm sure you'll get to meet Grace at some point through her photography, because it was used in all of those magazines in the States, all of those kind of press articles, and maybe she wasn't named. So Grace Fagan, fair play to you. Good Belfast girl, doing some great photography work, really impressive. And listen, we really should give her a good shout out, shouldn't we, for that? And look, going forward, she's actually helped me on another project, Liam, which has been really kind. As soon as I saw her work, I was like, oh, we could be using good photography. And so we did. So thank you very much for that kind of introduction. But listen, I'm excited for Belfast Whiskey Week this year. I'm excited for what you're going to be doing with Barry. So fair play on Barry and Stories and Sips. That's going to be great.
On the 19th of March.
Yeah. Well, there you go. Everyone needs to tune in and watch it. It's a late one for us here, but it's one of those Friday nights, isn't it? It's a Friday night. It's going to be, it's going to be great. St. Paddy's Week. I've got tasting beforehand, so I'll be lucid. I'll be ready for that.
Yeah.
I'll be ready for that. And I know everyone else. Oh, Shane popped back on. Listen, we'll bring Shane on just so he can say goodbye to everyone. We'll find out. I mean, it takes a long time to go to the toilet in his house. Let's just do that. Let's bring him on. Shane, are you there?
Yeah.
We can't even see him. I thought I brought him back on there. Fuck. Sure. Listen, Liam, we will have to leave it there. So let's.
No worries, Paul.
Is he gone?
Don't know.
We'll leave him out there just now. Listen, so Sláinte, thank you very much. And listen, thanks for everyone who came on tonight for the bit of the crack, for the chat. Look, it is good fun. And look, we look forward to seeing you very soon, Liam. All right?
Good man, Paul. Yep. I'll see you tomorrow night in Belfast Whiskey Club.
Oh, Belfast Whiskey Club. Yes. Thank you, Liam. Yes. See you then.
Good man.
Cheers. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.